Okay, so parallel lines and transversals. Um, in the picture below, we have two lines, X and Y, and those two particular lines are parallel. So write the word parallel there, please. They look parallel, but they really should have one thing that they didn't include. A lot of times on these diagrams in math, they put some interior little arrows like this, letting you know these two lines are parallel. They'll never intersect. Okay. And line T, this is line T. This is a special line. So I'm going to highlight it in green here. Line T here is a transversal. So we spell that Trans, transversal, Versal. A transversal, or a line that intersects them. So a transversal is just a line that cuts through and intersects two or more parallel lines. Okay. We don't have a protractor, but let's just say we know the measurement of one of these. I actually took the measurement beforehand. I know that this angle here is 110 degrees. Okay, that angle there is 110 degrees. It says use a protractor to measure each of the angles of each of the 8 angles. So it turns out, if this is 110, this angle here has to be 70 because they're supplementary. They add up to 180. They're also a linear pair. This angle here, angle C, this angle is going to be 70 as well. Mainly because angle B and C are vertical angles. And because of vertical angles, this is also 110. Because angles A and D are vertical. And we'll get into vertical angles a little more in a little bit. Okay, so we got all 4 of those angles. Let's hop on to line Y and look at these other angles. Well, if we measure this one, it's also 110 degrees. Okay, which makes this 70. And we do our little experiment all over again. All right, so write down all those measurements, please. Write down all those measurements. And let's see what we notice about the angle measurements. List which angles have the same measurement. So what do you notice about the angle measurements? Take a pair any pair that's not the same. What do they add up to? 180. So that's basically what we're looking for you to notice, that they add up to 180. So let's see. We have angle measurements that were 110 degrees. And let's list those. Angle A, angle D, angle E, and angle H. All of those were 110. Then we have the ones that added up to 70 degrees. The ones that add up to 70 degrees were angles B, angle C, angle F, and angle G. All right. And we're going to look at some unique qualities of parallel lines, and especially when they're cut by this transversal line. If you ever wonder why architects love using parallel lines in structures. A lot of the reasons are because of the things we're going to be exploring here right now. Okay? So what did we notice? They add up to 180. So we could say 110 plus 70 degrees means they're supplementary. Which should mean for us now, hopefully, 180 degrees. All right. So there's several types of angle pairs that we're going to be looking at. There's different categories or angle pairs that we're going to look at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 types of angle pairs. And there's the definitions. We're going to write some examples and write down the relationship. Okay? Okay. So let's get started. You guys ready? All right, let's do it. We're going to start talking about corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are angles in the same position, angles in, sometimes we like to call them matching corners. Matching corners. Okay, I'll give you an example. So they ask us to find examples. I'll give you an example. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'll talk about that next. Okay. Let's start with angle A. Angle A. If I were to bring this line X, imagine I bring line X and bring it down so it overlaps over line Y. Angle A would overlap over which angle? Angle E. Those are corresponding. They're matching corners. They're matching corners. Okay? So angle A and E. Those are corresponding. They're matching corners. Okay, let's look at angle B. If I were to bring line A again, or line X, to overlap over line Y, angle B would overlap over which angle? F. Do you see they're both the same measurement? They're equal? So those are corresponding. They're matching corners. So B and F. Now there's other ones, right? We could say C and G. Those are matching corners. And they're corresponding. Angle D and H, those are corresponding because they're matching corners. So the relationship here is congruent. Congruent means equal in, the angles are basically going to be congruent. So equal in measurement. They matched up the measurements. Any questions? All right. Let's talk about vertical angles. Vertical angles we've already talked about. These are pairs of opposite angles formed by intersecting lines. So pairs of opposite, that means they're facing each other. Angles formed by intersecting lines. Intersecting. So pairs of opposite angles formed by intersecting lines. So anytime two lines intersect, you get two pairs of vertical angles, and they're going to have the same measurement. So they're going to be congruent. So we can already say the relationship is they are congruent. So I'm going to pick on angle A again. You guys ready? Look at angle A. Which angle is opposite or facing it? B. B, is that the same size though? No. D. It has to be D. Do you see how they're facing each other? I would say that A and B are adjacent. They have a common side. These are adjacent, and these are opposite each other. So there's a difference. Adjacent means they share a common side and they're right next to each other. So A and D are vertical. Okay? So A and D, angle A and angle D. And let's pick on another one. Let's pick on angle F. F and what? G. Yeah, those are vertical to each other. So angle F and angle G. Those are vertical to each other. So hopefully now you can identify when angles are vertical. Because the other thing is they're going to have the same size, right? One has to match up in size to the other one. And angle E and F wouldn't have matched up in size. One's obtuse, more than 90. One is acute, less than 90. Right? Okay. All right. So adjacent angles. Ooh, we just talked about adjacent. Adjacent angles formed by intersecting lines and add up to 180. That's a linear pair. Think of supplementary. So they have to be adjacent. They have to have a common side. So I'm going to pick on angle E. Let's pick on angle E. What's adjacent to it that helps it add up to 180? G. Ooh, yeah, I like that. These two are a linear pair. I was thinking of F, but you picked out the other one. So there's two possibilities. Let's go with E and G. Angle E and angle G. How about angle D? What's a linear pair with that one? C, yeah, those add up to 180. So angle D and angle C. Now the relationship here isn't congruent because those two angles, 170, one's 110. They're not congruent, they're supplementary. And what number should come to mind when we say supplementary? 180. Just put that right there to remind us. 180. All right. So for the next four angles, we got to look at a specific relationship within these angles. Okay? The way I like to put it is you're either inside the river or outside the river. So I'm going to go back here. Interior and exterior. So imagine this is the river. If you're in the water, it's the interior. So I'm going to call this interior. Okay? So picture this is the river, you're inside the water. So angles C, D, E, and F, those are all interior angles. They're on the inside the water. Well, angles A and B and also G and H, they're not in the water. They're on the shore, right? They're dry. Those are exterior angles. So we've got interior and we've got exterior angles. These are exterior. Exterior angles here, exterior angles here. Okay? So when we start calling things interior and exterior, that's how we can tell if you're inside the water or outside the water. Okay? So you guys ready? Let's go back. We're going to learn about alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. So these are angles inside. Angles inside. Oops. Alternate interior. I was doing alternate exterior. And that's going to be inside also. Or outside. Interior is angles inside the parallel lines and opposite sides of the transversal. Sure, I'm sorry. And let me take this out because it's going to be a problem. There we go. Okay, so they're angles inside the parallel lines and opposite sides of the transversal. So let's talk about what that means. Inside the parallel lines. So inside the parallel line. So we're talking about angles C, D, E, and F. These are inside, but they're opposite sides of the transversal. This is my transversal. Okay? So this is my transversal. So let's start with an interior angle like angle C, which is on the other side of this line that also matches up. C matches up with F. It matches up, meaning same congruent. This is 70 degrees, that's 70 degrees. These are called alternate interior. They're congruent, they're the same size. You see? They're both the acute angles. Same thing with E and D. They're both on the inside, but they're on opposite sides of the transversal. One's down here and it's 110. One's over here and it's 110. These are called alternate interior. They have to be inside, but on different sides of this transversal line and have to be the same size. Okay? So let's write those down. We said angle C and F is one pair. And what was our other pair? D and E. Okay? And these are congruent again. Congruent. So these are alternate interior angles. So next we're going to look at alternate exterior angles. So they're not inside the water, they're outside the water. So these are angles outside the parallel lines. And on opposite sides of the transversal. So the same kind of relationship as we looked at when they were interior, but now they're going to be outside. So we're looking at angles A, B, G, and H. A, B, G, and H. Okay? So let's take a look. You guys ready? Okay. Let's look at this exterior angle, angle A. What's on the other side of this line, on the outside, exterior, and the same size? H, right? Do you see A and H? They're both on the outside. They're on opposite sides of this line, and they both measure the same thing. So A and H are alternate exterior. Now let's find an angle alternate exterior to G. B. They're both on the outside. They're opposite this line, and they both measure the same thing. So those are alternate exterior. These two, A and H, and these two, G and B. Okay? So A and H, let's write those down. And angle B and G. Okay? And these are congruent again, they're the same size. Everybody knows what I mean when I say congruent, right? The same size. Okay, so now we're going to go back and talk about interior again. So we're dealing with angles C, D, E, and F, but this time we want same side interior. So these are angles inside the parallel lines again. They're on the inside, the parallel lines, and on the same side of the transversal. Okay, so when it says alternate I want you to make that connection. When it says alternate, it means opposite sides of the transversal. Alternate means opposite sides of the transversal. And obviously, same side is going to mean same side of the transversal. Okay? So let's look at the angles that are same side, interior. So they're the inside angles, they're in the water, and they're on the same side. So which angle is on the same side of this transversal, also on the inside to C? G? Well, G's on the outside. E, right? C and E are both on the inside, and they're on the same side as this transversal. C and E are same side interior. They're both inside the water, and they're both on the same side. Now, are they equal in size? But what do they add up to? 180. So they're supplementary. Okay? Same thing with angle F. Angle F, what's same side interior to angle F? D. Again, they're not equal in size, they're not congruent, but they add up to 180, so they're supplementary. So let's write those down. We said angles C and E, angle C and angle E, and then we said angle D and F, and they're supplementary. Meaning they add up to 180. Okay. So last one we're going to do is same side exterior. So now we're going to look at the dry ones, the ones not inside the water. And it's the same idea. It's angles outside this time again, because they're exterior. And they're angles outside the parallel lines and on the same side of the transversal. Okay. Same side of the transversal. Boom. All right. So let's look at some same side interior angles. Okay. So we're talking about angles A, B, G, and H. A, B, G, and H. So they have to be on the same side of that green line I have. But they have to be on the outside. So what's same side exterior to angle A? A and G, right? They're both on the same side of this green line, and they're both on the outside. Do you see they add up to 180? What's on the same side exterior to angle H? H and B. Again, same side of this transversal line, and they're on the outside, and they're supplementary as well. So let's write down those. Angles A and G. And we said angle B and H. And they're supplementary. $180. Okay. All right. So now, would you agree that you know more about parallel lines than you ever wished to know? Yes, I would agree. Same here. But like I said, this is a good mind exercise. So let's continue. We're going to put some of this stuff to good use on the next page. You ready? All right. I see. Jason, you still writing anything? Okay. All righty. So first thing's actually going to be pretty easy, I think. It says, use what you know about parallel lines and transversals to label each of the missing angle measurements in the picture below. So we have this acute angle that's 75 and all 7 of these other angles that we don't know. But now, based on everything we've learned, we can find all of these other angle measurements because it's one of two measurements. It's either 75 or 180 minus 75, which is how much? 105. So this angle here is 105, right? They form a linear pair. They're supplementary. How about this shorter angle here? Vertical. There you go. How about this angle here? 105. Vertical again. How about this acute angle here, the one I'm pointing at here? 75. Those are corresponding. Or we could have also said alternate interior, right? Alternate interior right there. How about this angle here? 105. It's one of the bigger angles, so it has to be 105. And we could have gone corresponding or alternate interior. We could go maybe alternate exterior here. What's this bigger angle here? 105. And finally, this last angle is 75. So do you see we can find all of the other angles because they're either going to be congruent or supplementary. They're either going to be congruent or supplementary. Okay? Alrighty. So let's look at this diagram for questions 1 and 2 here. Okay, it says R and S are parallel, and then we have this transversal, and they give us the measurement of angle 2. Angle 2 is 55 degrees. Okay, angle 2 is 55 degrees. It says find the measure of angle 3. How do you know? Okay, angle 3. Let's look where angle 3 is. Angle 3 is right there. What should the angle measurement of angle 3 be? It is 55. So the measurement M of angle 3 equals 55 degrees. Remember that little M means measurement of angle 3 is 55 degrees. How do we know? What's the relationship between angle 2 and angle 3? Starts with a V. They're facing each other. They're vertical angles. That's what I want you to start thinking. Give a reason based on all of these things we discussed. Vertical angles, right? What's the connection between one we know and one we don't know? So now we know this is 55, by the way. And we would say angle 2 or angle 3 is vertical to angle 2. Okay, let's see here. It says find the measure of angle 7. Look at what we know. There's one of two reasons. What's the measurement, first of all, of angle 7? 55. The main reason you could tell, it's one of the shorter angles. All of the acute angles will match up. All of the obtuse angles will also match up and have the same size. We know that now. So this has to be 55. But what reason? What's the connection between either angle 3 or angle 2? I'll give you a hint for angle 2. They're both on the outside, so they're exterior. Well, we can't say acute exterior. Which of our reasons here that had exterior? Are they alternate exterior or are they same side exterior? Alternate exterior. They're on opposite sides of the transverse. So they have to be equal. So the measurement of angle 7 equals 55 degrees. And we would say angle 7 is alternate, I'll abbreviate it, exterior to angle 2. Okay. All right. Any questions? All right, let's try another one. Let's do 3 and 4. This time they kind of rotated our parallel lines. This is the interior, right? 3, 5, 4, and 6 are interior. 1, 2, 7, and 8 are exterior. And then they tell us, what do they tell us? The measurement of angle 5 is 102. 102. So either we have 102 or 78 degrees. Okay, let's get started. Find the measure of angle 4. Well, look at angle 4. Well, vertical, it would be, angle 4 is vertical to 1, but I don't know anything about 1. I want to connect it to angle 5. How is it connected to angle 5? They're both on the inside, so they're interior. Are they alternate interior or same side interior? Alternate interior, and those are equal. So it has to be 102 degrees too. So the measurement of angle 4 equals 102. And you could say angle 4 is alternate interior to angle 5. Okay. Find the measure of angle 1. So now we want to connect angle 1 to either angle 5 or angle 4. It's vertical. Now we can use vertical. So we could have used vertical or we could have used corresponding. Let's use vertical. Okay, the measurement of angle 1 equals 102 degrees. Angle 1 is vertical. To angle 4. Okay. Excellent. All right. So now the last thing we're going to do here, it says use the pictures from question 3 and 4 to mark the following questions as either true or false. Correct any false statement in the space on the right. Okay. So we're going to read what they say, and it's either true or false, and if it's false, we got to fix it. Okay. You ready? Let's start with angle 2 and 8. 2 and 8. 2 and 8 are corresponding. I have a problem with that because look at this angle. It's acute and this angle is obtuse. Corresponding angles have to be equal or congruent. So I would say false. Here's the problem. What is actually corresponding? What matches up on the same side with angle 8? Angle 8, well, if I were to bring this line K, overlap it to line J, would 8 overlap to 2 or would it overlap to 4? If I bring this line all the way over here, 8 wouldn't match up, overlap 2, 8 would overlap 4. So those are corresponding. 5 and 2 are corresponding. See, if I were to bring this line over, angle 6 rather would correspond. I know I said 5, it's angle 6 and 2. So basically, what could we put here? Both are exterior angles. They're both exterior angles. Both exterior. That's the other thing about corresponding. One is on the outside, one is on the inside usually. Both are exterior angles. And I should have one of each. One that's on the outside, one that's on the inside. Okay, angles 3 and 5. 3 and 5 are congruent. What do you think? Are they both 102 degrees? So, okay, think about this then. This is 102 and this is 102, right? We're saying that 3 is 102. 102 plus 102 is 204 degrees and not 180, right? These two together should add up to 180 because they form a linear pair. It's false. These are actually supplementary. They're same side interior. So it's false again. These are same side interior. Angle 3 and angle 5 are supplementary. Okay. I know they made this one a little harder because it's hard to tell that they're really not the same size. Sometimes you can tell one's obtuse, one's acute. They can't be the same. Angles 1 and 8 are alternate interior angles. So let's look where alternate 1 and 8 are. Alternate interior angles, 1 and 8. Are they alternate interior angles? No, they're alternate exterior actually. So this is false. Gosh, are we ever going to get a true? They're alternate. They are alternate interior angles. They're actually alternate interior angles. All right, give me a true one. 5 and 8 are vertical. 5 and 8 are vertical. True or false? Look at, they're facing each other. They're both 102. Finally, we got a true one. 5 and 8 are vertical. Okay. And the last one, 1 and 7 are supplementary. 1 and 7. Do they both add up to 180? Well, here, if I bring this, yeah, this has to be 78, right? And 78 plus 102 is supplementary. So therefore, those are true. We don't have to put any reason there. Yeah, usually what I do when I get something like this, guys, is as soon as I get my angle, one angle, I just write all the other angle measurements. And that usually helps out. Okay? All right. So the assignment is on IXL. Okay, so we have one small correction. I wrote interior when I meant exterior here. Alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles.